Welcome to CSC Movie Recaps. I'll be explaining the Indian psychological drama movie Taare Zameen Par today. 8-year-old Ishaan is a creative child who is well known among his friends for causing problems. He is the worst student in his class and fails every subject. He is currently enrolled in the 3rd grade, and based on his report card, he will have to retake the class. Johan, his older brother, is a model student in contrast to Ishaan. He plays tennis and trains for a tennis championship. Ishaan frequently gets into fights with the neighborhood kids. One day, a kid's mother complains about Ishaan's behavior to his father Nandkishore. He has to apologize. After they leave, he shoves Ishaan to the floor to discipline him. Although Nandkishore loves his children, he is too harsh on Ishaan. He believes that Ishaan's low scores and inability to do basic tasks are because of his laziness. The next day at school, Ishaan's English teacher asks him to read from the book. He tries his best but can hardly form a word. He has difficulty in understanding the letters, but the teachers mistake it for him being a brat. When she repeatedly urges him to read, he yells gibberish and is sent out of the class. It is not a new thing for Ishaan to be punished. In fact, he spends most of his time outside rather than studying because the teachers think of him as a disturbance to the other students. Ishaan's English instructor asks him to read from the book the following day in class. Despite his greatest efforts, he has trouble forming words. Although he has trouble grasping the alphabet, his teachers misunderstand this for being a brat. She keeps telling him to read, but he yells gibberish and is dismissed from the class. Ishaan receiving punishment is nothing new. Because the teachers perceive him as a disruption, he actually spends the majority of his time outside of class. Ishaan hadn't finished his math assignment that day. He flees from school and spends the entire day wandering around the neighborhood to avoid the math teacher. He enjoys the day by relaxing by the water. By the end of the day, nobody has noticed his absence as he makes his way back to his school bus. We witnessed him creating a stunning painting at home. Later, his mother Maya makes an effort to tutor him. She observes that he has terrible handwriting, and he barely ever spells anything correctly. She reprimands him and equates his inability with being lazy. Ishaan will need to present his parents' note of absence the next day. He asks his brother to write the note for him out of fear of getting into trouble. Johan writes the note after getting him to swear from skipping class ever again. The young student displays it to his teacher while acting unwell by pretending to cough. The students are caught off guard by the math teacher's test. Ishaan receives the test paper, but to him, the letters appear to be unintelligible nonsense. He is asked to multiply 3 by 9 in the first question. The young boy visualizes a battle between the 9th planet, Pluto, and the 3rd planet, Earth. He justifies the number 3 by daydreaming about the Earth destroying Pluto. He submits the test while leaving the other questions unanswered. He says he passed when questioned by his pals. Nandkishore returns from a business trip the following day. Ishaan is ecstatic to see his father again and gives him a warm embrace. Nandkishore, however, discovers the false absence note from the previous day while eating breakfast. He learns after looking into Ishaan's disappearance from school that he was exploring the streets by himself. The parents visit his instructors and principal the following day, who criticize his in-class behavior. Also, they learn about his failure in the math exam. Ishaan should go to a school for kids with disabilities, according to the principal. Nandkishore finds the idea of his son having a disability abhorrent. Due to their concerns for their child's future, both parents decide to enroll him in a boarding school. Ishaan is vehemently opposed to the notion. Although his parents do not want to be apart from him either, the child rebels and begs them to keep him at home. Ishaan wakes up screaming after having a dream about losing his mother. He vows to work more on his studies if they let him stay at home. Maya is heartbroken, but Nandkishore is determined in his choice. Finally, the day arrives when Ishaan is sent to the rural boarding school. He will only be permitted to see his family once a month and will be required to live in a dormitory with other kids. For the 8-year-old who has never left his home, it is a nightmare. He is welcomed by the dean, who warns him that his previous behavior won't be accepted here. The family departs the school after taking a tour in sorrow. Ishaan merely stands by and sobs as their car pulls away. He remains in that position for several minutes. He enters the hostel while still sobbing as it begins to become dark. He barely eats dinner and sits alone. He goes to the restroom at night when he can't sleep and sobs softly. Maya arrives at her house in the meantime and looks through Ishaan's possessions. She is shocked to discover a flipbook showing him being kidnapped from his family. She learns from the book how much the child dreads being separated, and it hurts her heart. Ishaan struggles to perform everyday tasks in the hostel, such as fastening his tie and shoelaces. Mr. Tiwari, the Hindi instructor, forces him to sit on the first bench alongside Rajan. Ishaan is not normal, as the teachers quickly realize. He doesn't pay much attention in class, and his art teacher physically corrects him for it. Nothing has changed from his past school behavior. He is consistently removed from the classroom as a punishment and barred from participating in any class activities. He eventually becomes so irate that he rips his books to pieces and discards them. He quits putting in effort to perform well in class and descends into a spiral of depression. When his parents see him, he locks himself in a room and sobs. He runs around the basketball court numerous times outside. To offer him a respite from school life, the family checks him into a hotel for the night. Johan offers him a gift basket full of painting equipment, but little does he realize that Ishaan has completely quit painting and has blocked away his artistic side. The family bids him goodbye and leaves. Ishaan is at his lowest point ever. He considers how it might feel to jump from that height from the school's terrace. Rajan, his lone companion, interrupts him and informs him of their new instructor. The kids are taken aback when the new teacher Ram shows up for class dressed as the Joker. In contrast to all the other professors, he lets them have fun. Ishaan doesn't take part in any of it, but the old Ishaan would have liked it. The kids' first assignment is to draw anything they wish. Ram wants them to express their creativity so that he will know what to work on next. Ishaan doesn't even touch the paper as the kids begin to draw many things. Ram initially thinks the child is taking a moment to reflect, but Ishaan's notepad is still blank when class is over. Ram is concerned, but receives no response. Ishaan refuses to speak when Maya calls him that evening. Instead, he simply holds the phone to his ears. He is told that because Johan has a tennis match, they would have to push back their next visit by a week. This simply serves to reinforce Ishaan's belief that his family doesn't value him. Ram notices Ishaan huddling outside the classroom the following day. He inquires about him to Rajan because of his depression. Despite his best efforts, Ishaan struggles to understand letters, according to Rajan. Ram has a keen eye for youngsters who are different because he works in a school for disadvantaged kids. He searches through his past journals to learn more about Ishaan. He can't stop thinking about Ishaan. He can relate because he once faced a similar issue. A few weeks later, he realizes what Ishaan's real issue is and goes to meet his parents. They kindly accept him and permit him to view Ishaan's bedroom. Ram is shocked to learn that Ishaan once painted. That the youngster lost his brightness as a result of the pressure placed on him. Nand Kishore disparages his son, saying that he despises learning and is lazy. In retaliation, Ram demonstrates to them the pattern in Ishaan's errors. He frequently inverts the letters, as if he has trouble telling them apart. Even so, the father still links it to laziness, but Ram asserts that he is mistaken. He claims that Ishaan suffers from a neurological disorder called dyslexia that makes it difficult for him to comprehend certain patterns, such as letters and words. He also struggles with coordination, which prevents him from tying his shoelace. The young child must have been in great pain because no one recognized his inability to read and concluded he was just being lethargic. Ram is belittled by Nand Kishore, who believes Ram is calling his son a retard. Ram asks him to read the foreign characters written on a box so that he will comprehend. Nand Kishore finally understands what his child may be going through when he gets reprimanded for not understanding the letters. He won't admit that his son can support himself through his one and only passion for painting. Ram is adamant about disapproving him. The following day, when he returns to the school, he instructs the students on all the notable historical personalities who weren't particularly brilliant students as youngsters. He uses real people as examples, which helps Ishaan feel much better. Ishaan answers Thomas Edison. When Ram asks who created the light bulb, speaking for the first time in weeks, Ram notices the youngster showing signs of learning. Later on the same day, Ishaan constructs a boat out of leaves and rubber bands while standing by a pond. Ram is so taken with the construction that he takes it home and uses it as decor. Ishaan's artistic faculties begin to return. Ram visits the school's headmaster one day and informs him of Ishaan's issue. Ram is certain that Ishaan can succeed in school, despite the principal's suggestion that they send him to a facility for kids with special needs. He proposes that the teachers assist the student by comprehending his situation. Ram offers to tutor Ishaan every day after school. The following day, Ram begins teaching Ishaan how to distinguish between the alphabet's letters using a variety of inventive techniques. Sandboxes, Play-Doh, sensory techniques, and other things help them learn. To learn how to compute, Ishaan also uses audiobooks and stares. He finally learns the letters that the other teachers had been unable to teach him for years in just 2 months. Nandkishore shows up at the school one day to chat with Ram and brag about how they are doing more research on their son's ailment. He wants Ram to understand that he is a caring father. Ram, on the other hand, attributes the child's loss of confidence to the father, something even Nandkishore cannot dispute. He observes Ishaan attempting to read from the notice board as he exits. He sobs and can't bring himself to look at him since he feels bad about unintentionally hurting his child. Ram arranges a painting contest a few days later. In the amphitheater, everyone congregates and draws. Ishaan makes his first use of the painting supplies his brother gave him. Everyone begins to sketch as the tournament begins. Even the instructors have fun and give it their all. By the time it is through, Ishaan has produced a stunning painting of himself relaxing by the pond. He discovers that Ram painted a portrait of him as he approaches the front to present the painting. The sight renders him dumbfounded. Soon after, it is revealed that the winning painting will grace the cover of the new yearbook. The principal adds that it was a difficult decision because Ram's and Ishaan's paintings stood out the most. Ishaan is ultimately crowned the champion, with Ram taking home second place. Cheers emerge from the audience. Ishaan feels honored for the first time in his life for his talent. He can't help but cry and rushes to hug his teacher. Maya and Nandkishore arrive at the school for the final parent-teacher conference in the final scene. The school's yearbook's cover artwork by Ishaan is shown by the principal as proof of his brilliance. The parents are shocked since they are not used to the sudden attention. Ram receives accolades from the principal for doing an excellent job. Later, Ishaan's teachers introduce themselves to his parents and show them the student's report card while praising his undeniable development. The pair sheds happy emotions as they watch their son play outside. Nandkishore expresses gratitude to Ram for helping Ishaan and regrets his actions. Ishaan then bids Ram goodnight and takes a trip back to his village. To support the channel, switch on the notification feature, subscribe for more videos like this, and leave a like. I appreciate you coming.